What's up, you guys? I am Ania. Welcome back to my channel. So today, y'all, we're going to be doing the Bible study on the book of Job. As I mentioned in one of the last videos, the one where it was titled about holding on to your faith even when your life feel like it's falling apart. And then I forget what the title of the video after that was, but they all was kind of talking about the same thing, about holding on to your faith. Y'all excuse these noises if y'all hear that noise, them trucks passing by. But it's basically about holding on to faith in your wilderness season, or holding on to your faith when you're in your season of lack. Don't feel like God forgot about you. Don't feel like God is just punishing you, for everything that you've ever done, just because you're in a season where it seems like you're losing everything at once. You may be losing your job, your health, your car, your house, your relationships. Your children might be acting up, hair might be falling out, all type of stuff will be going on at one time, and you'll be like, what in the world is going on? Like, what did I really do? I'm a chill person. I'm kind to everybody. I'm respectful. I do what's right when nobody looking. I got integrity. Like, why am I in a losing season? So that's pretty much what Job is going through, and it is just so comforting to read it. And as I told y'all in that other video, I'm still, I wouldn't say I'm in the restoration portion of my Job season. So I'm at the end of it. And I've been in this season for almost 2 years at this point. Like, since God made me, leave Maryland. First he had me to quit my job and stuff, and started doing my little business practices and all of that, doing different little side hustles and stuff. Then he sent me away, as I told y'all in that video. And you guys, I made a playlist specifically about your wilderness season. So it's a couple videos that I've already done over the past year or so, and then more recent videos. And in that playlist, that's what I'm going to be doing, like wilderness season guidance. So that's what the title of that playlist is. It's called Wilderness Season Guidance. It's videos for you if you're in that lack season, especially like if you're on a spiritual journey and God told you to move away from a place, he told you to leave from a town where you know no one, and trust in him, let go of everything, and just completely lean on him to provide everything that you, your children, your dogs, your pets, everything that you and your household need. If he told you to do that, then this video is for you, and those videos in that playlist is for you. I have another playlist where it's like my spiritual journey, so y'all will see, for yourself what I actually had to endure during my wilderness season, with being homeless, losing my car, selling my car, everything, because I sold a car, then lost the car, all of this and all of that. So that's what y'all see in that video, from the time when God told me to move to Texas. And in that video, y'all will see me, packing up from Maryland, packing up my apartment. I had to leave a lot of stuff behind. I ended up selling my car, came to Texas, got a new car, stayed in a hotel, didn't know what was going on. It was just a season. It's a season of completely trusting in the unknown. Got there. We've been in hotels, shelters. We've been all over the place. So in that playlist, y'all will see a little bit of that in the one that's called, I think it's titled My Wilderness Experience / Faith Walk. That's the one about, you will see the actual footage of, everything. And then the one that says Wilderness Season Guidance, that's just like, formal videos like this with me just giving you some encouragement, basically, and letting you know to hold on to your faith during the season, baby, because this too shall pass and it won't last forever. So basically, we're going to go ahead and get into it about the book of Job, because it's so real, and God had led me to read it the other day. I'm just finished reading it today. And I know in that video, I told y'all that I was going to do the Bible study video that same day and drop it the next day. So I'm late with doing that. Because y'all, I got ADHD or whatever they want to call it. It's like, it's so hard for me to just focus and sit down and read it all the way through, especially if it's like 20 pages. That might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot for me, because I be having to reread, and then I be looking up words, and then I get to talking to myself, because I'm like, oh, this is the same thing I feel, and the same thing, so it just be a whole thing for me. And then I had to do like a little outline because we're not going to go over every single portion of Job. I am going to, of course, put it up on the screen, put some, as I'm reading, put it up on the screen for y'all to go along with it. But I'm not going to be reading every single thing, but there is parts that stuck out to me in certain chapters that I want to read. So I made a little outline so that I can easily go to it. So first and foremost, let's talk about Job. So we're going to read that first part. And so, who was Job? So it says, in the land of Uz, I guess that's how you pronounce it. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and hated evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. So I'm going to read a little bit more, but basically, just a summary of this. I'm going to just summarize it for y'all before we go in depth of everything. So he was an upright man. He had integrity. He did what was right when nobody was looking. He not no sinner. He not coveting after his neighbor's wives. He not lusting after young women. He not, speaking down on the poor. He not trying to take from the poor. He give back. He do all that, what would be considered for a righteous soul. He did that. He took care of his kids. He took care of his wife. He took care of his family. He was a shepherd over all his thousands of oxen. Because, back in those days, that's what make you a wealthy man. Having all those cattle and oxen and the goats and all of that, the sheep, that makes you wealthy because what they use those animals for back then, and like we still use it for now. We use it for clothing. They use the sheep clothing to... it was something I was reading where they used the sheep skin to write. That's before they came out with paper and stuff. They used the sheep skin to actually, write. At first they would carve pictures and stuff into like the clay and into the like how fossils and stuff is. You carve it into the actual rock and all of that. Doing pictures, and that's how they first communicated with one another, like pictographs. But eventually, with the sheep, they used the sheep skin to make paper. That's how they made their scrolls. It was thick pieces of paper using sheep skin. So, you're rich if you have that. Like now, you're rich if you have cattle. You're rich because you can sell it for thousands of dollars. You can cut it up and make meat and all of that with it and sell to everybody around the world, sell to the grocery stores, yada, yada, yada. So you rich if you have that. So basically, he lost everything as a test. It was a test. Everything about his season was a test. It was to test his faith. And I told y'all in the other video, and I said a lot, that the number one thing for God is faith in him. And if you have faith in him, you're going to obey him no matter what it looks like. No matter what it looks like, you're going to have faith and be obedient. That is key for him. That is key for him. And being obedient, you naturally going to listen to your convictions when he's convicting you about certain things, about stopping certain things, doing certain things. You're going to listen to that out of obedience, and you're going to stop doing it because you obey and you fear God. So that was what the whole test was. So he, let Satan test him through snatching all his stuff. Take your money, take your health, take your family, everything. And we're going to see if you still going to remain that righteous man once I take everything from you, So we're going to read about that. But basically, the majority of the book is about Job and his friends. They just, Job expressing his feelings because it got to a point where he like, I'm starting to feel like God don't like me. Like, what did I really do? I'm starting to feel like he paying me back for some stuff that I don't even know of. Like, I feel like he treated me like he treat the wicked people, as if I really did something like them. Like, why are you making me suffer like this? So it was like a monologue with him and his friends, and they came to comfort him and everything. And, in the process, Job was just he wasn't feeling it. Like, he is mad. He was venting his frustrations. You know, he never cursed God throughout the process, but he still spoke how he felt to God. And God wasn't answering him. It's like he went silent, went ghost on him, and just, you know, it's like he took everything from him and then he left away and never answered him, never gave him no reasoning for why or what's to come. He didn't do none of that. So his friends, they was going back and forth, you know, his friends trying to talk to him like, well, maybe you ended up dead. Maybe you really are wicked, because he only do this stuff to the wicked people. And who are you to think that, you know, you so righteous that stuff shouldn't just happen to you? Because the way that he was speaking to God, especially his frustrations, his friends was like, you're talking to God like that? Like, that there, your lips, what you're saying there, you telling God that there is why you're suffering now. And Job like, man, whatever. I'm speaking my feelings. I can speak my feelings. I'm a wise man. I got more wisdom than y'all. And it's just so funny because listening to some of the things that they say in here, I'm like, dang, you sound just like me. This is exactly what I've been saying on my journey. And even one of the friends was like, you talk to us as if we're like cattle, if we're stupid like cattle. And it's so funny because I be saying that. I be like, people always calling, like, I don't know, y'all know, like on the internet, people be like, oh, she's a bird, you know, calling people birds and calling them as to insult them as if they're slow, if they're stupid or something. But really, birds are very smart. They're very clever. They're very witty. They quick on their feet. But I always say, you know, because of my observation of how cows move and how cows are easily just told what to do, and they move slow and they just easily domesticated. It's just like you can do whatever you want to them, and they just move slow. They act like they dumb because they just be there. So for the friends to say that, like, you act like we like cattle, I was like, that's funny, because I always say that. I be like, instead of calling these girls birds, y'all need to call them some cows, because that's what would mean that you're dumb. That means that you're slow. You acting like a cow, which is cattle. So it was just funny reading that. And then a lot of the stuff. So that's what I want to go over for us in the video. So that's what I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it. So it says, his sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their three sisters to eat, drink with them. When the period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. One day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and fro here and there. So then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on the earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear for nothing? Satan replied. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything that he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. So, you know, this is a little thing between God and the devil. He like, if you take everything that he has, he's surely gonna curse you. You think he blaming, you think he just this righteous man and he just good and everything. That's because you have blessed him. You think he loved you, you think he feared you, you think everything is good with you and this man, but it's only because you have blessed him. But I bet you if you take that stuff from him, he gonna curse you to your face. So God like, what? Not my Job. No. I know Job's heart. He would never. So it says, the Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself, do not lay a finger. So basically, you could take everything he has, you could tempt him, you could do everything, you could strip him down. I'm giving you the authority to go strip him down. I'm giving you the okay to go do everything to him, but you can't unalive him. You can't take him off the face of this earth. You can't make him stop breathing. So I'm going to go ahead and read, you know, the part of him stealing his wealth or whatnot. I'm going to summarize. I'm not going to read the entire thing, so just, you know, for the sake of time or whatever. So the first part is Job loses his family and his wealth. So first they take his wealth. They take his animals. All those thousands of animals, that they had. So it says, one day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabines attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I'm only the one who escaped to tell you. So while he was speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on camels and made off with them. So at this point, they didn't off what they had with his ox and his donkey. A fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and servants. Then the Chaldeans came and took all his camels and offed his servants. And then a great wind came and destroyed the home where his sons and daughters was in. And all his sons are the ones who was unalive through the house falling down on them. And then, so all of that happened at once. So that was back to back to back. He lost his wealth. He lost his sons. Back to back to back. So after all of that happened, Job got up, tore his robe, and shaved his head and fell down to the ground in worship. And he said, naked I come from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. So when that happened, he was like, all right, I mean, it is what it is. He took that one, he took that one fairly okay. Mind you, that's all his wealth and his, that's a death in his family. So that, of course, that hurts. But he was like, okay, this is life. Naked I came out my mama, naked I shall return. So, all right, you stripped me from my wealth. I came out poor. I came out with no money. So me having no money now, it's all good. My period. He said, the Lord gave and the Lord taketh away. And y'all know a lot of people, quote that part right there. And this is where they get that from. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So whatever he give you, he will take it away. And when he see that he ready to restore it to you, he will. As he did Job in the end. So we can't wait to get to that part. All right. So let's go on. So it says, Satan asked to test Job further. So it says, on another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, where are you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and fro, here and there. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There's no one on the earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil, and he still maintains his integrity. Though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason. So basically, you said that after you took all his wealth and stuff that he was going to curse me, and he didn't. So why are you back again? I already told you that's my man, 100 grand. He not going against me, period. So he was like, all right. He said, skin for skin, Satan replied. A man will give all he has for his own life, but now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face. So, he like skin for skin. All right, let's attack his health now, because he got his life now, he got his health. So of course he gonna be good. Like a man will give all he has for his life, for his health, for all of that. He won't give it up. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die. He replied, you're talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. All right, so I want to reflect on that part, because his wife, y'all see his wife said, are you still going to maintain your integrity? You need to curse this guy and go on away from him, because I don't like this God no more, because things ain't good no more. So now I don't like him no more, because that's how we do. When things going good, for one, when things going good, we don't even be caring about God for real. We only go crying out to him when stuff is going bad. And we think because he's God that he's not supposed to allow bad things to happen to us. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's the furthest things from the truth. Because like I said in that other video about embrace the changes in your life or whatever. a lot of times we get too comfortable, and God don't want you to get too comfortable, because life is ever changing. Life is about evolving, and it's about the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and it's each season that's going to teach you something. It's each season that's going to build character in you. It's each season that's going to produce wisdom. It's each season that's going to test your faith, test your strength, that's going to equip you for this thing we live in called life. Each thing you go through is for your greater good, the bad, the ugly. Because when you come out of that season of lack, you're going to be humbled more. You're going to have more gratitude for what you have. You're not going to forget God as much, because you're going to be like, I remember what he did for me. I remember being in that poverty season. So now that I'm winning again, and which some people don't, because when people get out of that lacking season, it's like they tend to forget God. And they be like, all right, I'm out of this. All right, thank you, God, for the blessings. And I'll see you later next time something bad happens. God don't want you to do that. And when you start to forget him, or when you start to think that, your ish don't stink, and when you just start to think that, you just winning, and life is supposed to just be straight winning streaks, he gonna throw something in there. For one, to test your faith. For two, just to make sure you're not letting your pride get too big, because when you in constant winning seasons, as flesh, we get to be like, oh, my ish don't stink. Like, yeah, like I'm the one. You get the looking down at people and stuff, and that's not what God wants you to do. So then after this, Job's friends mourn with him in silence. So his friends come to see him, and 3 of his friends come to see him, and when they saw him, they noticed, they was like, Job, is that you? Like, Job didn't even look the same. He looks homeless. He looks like not the man that they used to seeing. And I know this ought to be true, because I was saying that in my homeless season, when I'm in my wilderness, when I was out there in the hotels, and when coming to Texas and everything, and I had a video, and I never actually posted it. It's up there on my profile, but I never released it. But, in the video, I was saying how, because I think that one was about the daughters of Zion, judgment on the daughters of Zion, because as women, sometimes we be on our high horse. We think we better than the men out here. We think we making this big money. We got our education. We got the big dollars. We got our own house, car, this, that, and that. And so we start thinking that we high and above, and that we above the men. We think we above all the other girls out there. We just be thinking we on our high horse. Can't nobody tell us nothing. We walk around with our stiff necks, like God be saying. And he don't be wanting that. He don't want you he don't want your neck stiff. Loosen up, humble yourself, calm down. It's okay to, love what you have and love what you do, but he don't want you to really be proud. He don't really want you to have that pride on you where you feel like, you just full of yourself. That really ain't what he want. He wants you to be humble in everything you do, no matter if you got $1 million, $1 billion, $2. He wants you to carry that same, attitude, that same meekness, to you, not feeling like you above people because you have more than them. And I know in that video I was talking about, like, I had that same purse. I had that same ugly, that purse was tore up because I wore it for like a whole year. That's the only purse I had. I left everything behind in Maryland. I don't have nothing. Like, everything that I used to have all the purses, all the style, all my accessories, all my jackets. Like, I love jackets. Like, I love different jackets. I love unique stuff. I love purses. I love accessories. Like, I'm not a big clothes girl where I got a bunch of clothes and stuff, but I used to have a lot of purses, a lot of shoes. Not even a lot of shoes, but I like shoes, purses, jackets, jewelry, and hair, like, and my nails and stuff like that. So in that season, I didn't have all that. I was carrying that one little bag, the bag that I bought from Maryland with everything in it, and I didn't know I was gonna be looking like a homeless, rundown girl. Like, looking at my pictures, I used to always look back, and I still look back sometimes at my pictures, because I'm still not fully restored yet. Like, and the money that I do be getting, when God give me my manna and all of that, I make sure my kids is straight. So, because my daughter is the one in school, and I got 2 kids, I make sure they good, make sure they feel good first, and I just be putting myself on the back burner, because I'm like, all right, I could just wait. So, and then just making sure I got stuff that I need for the house and all of that. So it was very humbling for me, because I'm like, I'm not used to this. Looking back at my pictures, I'd be like, I was so cute, and I just be looking so basic now, and it just be like, ugh, like, where's the cuteness at? You know, and I remember one of my managers, and she's the first person who ever told me to get on YouTube. Zaz Mirror, I'm never gonna forget Zaz, because she was like, and before she left the job, she had a meeting with everybody. She had a meeting with me, and she was like, you know, just telling me that basically you could do better than this. Like, I see so much for you, you know. And she was like, I could totally see you on YouTube. I was like, really? Like, in my head, I'm like, I already know I can. I don't plan on staying at this job forever. That ain't never been a goal of mine. It's just to stack this bread. I be putting them hours in, getting my bread, stacking it, trying to get my stuff together. But it was never my plan to stay at this job. So in my head, I'm like, you don't gotta tell me that. I don't plan on staying here anyway. You know, but she was getting ready to leave the job because she just was like, I just want to do something different. You know, she wasn't even there that long either, but she was just like, you know, this is life is she was around my age too. I think Zaz was around my age, and she like, I'm moving to this other state with my boyfriend, and I'm just gonna do something else because people really living life out here, and I feel like I'm just, you know, this position ain't it. She was a supervisor, and she was just telling me, she was like, I could totally see you on YouTube, because you're so fashionable and this, that, and that, you know. And I did used to be Mrs. Put It On. Like, I don't wear designer and all of that stuff, but just on some regular dagla, I be looking cute. So for me to be in this season where I be wearing the same shirts, you know, can't wear my bust down, I don't wear my 30-inch weaves no more and all of that, it just be like real humbling. You know, it was real humbling. I've always done, well, not always, but since pandemic, I started, right before pandemic happened, I had already started doing my own nails. So that's a given. I do my own nails. So that ain't nothing, but it was just humbling to not be able to have all the things that I once used to have. And I didn't know that I was not going to ever return to Maryland. I still have not been back to Maryland since I left. In the storage unit I have there, money got dried up. That storage had to go, so I lost so many things. I lost all my cute little shoes, my cute jackets. I had some cute lamps in there. Like, oh, I miss all my stuff. I still miss my stuff. I still miss my stuff. But it's all good because God say, don't look back. He gonna bless you double fold at the end. You gonna get restored, and you gonna forget about all that stuff you didn't left. So, y'all, this video going to end up getting long, because we ain't even get into everything yet. So after that, you know, his friends came to visit him, and, you know, when they came, they was crying. They saw everything that was going on with Job. It says when they saw him, when they saw him, they could hardly recognize him. They cried and sat with him for 7 days and 7 nights and said nothing because they saw how much anguish that Job was in. And then after the 7 days was over, Job finally speaks, and he mad. He curses the day he was born. He was mad that he was even born. You know, he questioned why live just to live in anguish. And I too, when you on this journey, you feel like that. Like my girl that was in the comments that day, in that other video, she like, this is not it. This is not it. So, let me go to it. So she like, this is not it. I'd rather go back to my old life. I just want my old life back. Because when you in this season, you're going to be reminiscing about your old life. And sometimes your old life wasn't that great. It might have been okay, you know, but it just what was familiar, especially when you have moved away. Like for me, moving, I'm in a whole new state by myself. Don't know nobody. Don't have no friends. Don't have no family. Don't got my baby daddies. Don't got nobody that can help me with the kids. Even if, you know, at the last minute or nothing, I'm totally here by myself. And to have nobody is just, it's definitely different. You know, in the beginning of the stage, it was definitely different. Even though I'm used to taking care of my kids by myself, but it's different to have like nobody that, even if something happened at the school, you the only one that's on call. Daddy can't come get you. You know, it's everything is on me. And then not to have, you know, your house not to feel like a home. I'm just used to my house feeling like a home by the things that's in it, because it's the things that's in your home that make your house feel like a home. It's your, you know, and I didn't have all of that stuff. When I was in Houston, didn't have no couch, didn't have no headboard, didn't have none of this stuff. So I'm just like, I don't have nothing compared to my old house where I had everything. I had my beautiful big mirror that I still don't got, and I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get that big mirror back. I love that mirror, and I'm gonna get it again. Um, you know, it's just baby steps, baby steps. But you're gonna be wishing that you was back where you were, even if it wasn't the best. But sometimes you think that it's better than this, because at least this, you're gonna be like, at least this, at least I got a couple friends, or at least, even if my family was they mean or whatever, but at least, at least you get to be around somebody. You don't have to be alone to yourself, because most people, you don't like isolation. You don't want to be by yourself. You don't want to feel like you don't have nobody. Like, so for a lot of people, that hurts them on an isolation tip. Me, I'm always to myself, by myself, been by myself all my life. So that wasn't the thing for me. For me, it was my money and my things that I'm missing. That was the big thing for me. And, having to give up smoking and all of that stuff. So it was different, because normally when I'm upset and I'm angry and I can get to go, and I can't do that because I'm convicted to not do that. And God had to teach me through that season, instead of relying on rely on him. Stop feeling like you can't. You stop suppressing all your emotions just by smoking it away. Or drinking it away, or whatever you do. I don't drink. I used to just smoke. But whatever you do to cope with, your traumas, childhood trauma, relationship traumas, lack, when you lose and stuff, just the overwhelming things of life, whatever you use to cope with it in this season, when you're in your wilderness season, when you're in your Job season. It's a test of faith, and it's also to wash away your sins. It's to make you a better person. It's to teach you a lot. It's to give you new identity. It's to make you fully rely on God. It's to fully strengthen your relationship with God, and see why it's important to have him in your life, not just for the things that he can provide materialistically, but for the peace that he can give your soul. That is something that it tops everything, just to know that there is somebody with you, even when you think you're alone. Because a lot of times we be around people, we be in relationships with people, and we still feel alone, because it's just a void. A lot of times we have people around us just to fill voids, and you don't really even feel the real love from them. They don't bring a peaceful environment for you. They don't make you feel safe, but yeah, you keep them around. And God don't want you to be codependent on nobody but him, because he's the only one that can truly fill those empty voids within you. So so Job, was like, what's there to why live just to live in anguish? And I'm going to just read this little scripture here where it says, why is life given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of the soul, to those who long for death that does not come, who search for it more than for hidden treasure, who are filled with gladness and rejoice when they reach the grave? Why is life given to a man whose ways is hidden, whom God has hedged in? For sighing has become his daily food. My groan pours out like water. It says, I have no peace, no quietness, I have no rest, but only turmoil. And that's how you feel when you feel like you suffering. You like, just take me out of this world. Y'all know how a lot of people be like, I just don't want to live anymore. And then here I go, and here other people go, but like, it's a blessing to just wake up in the morning. And they're like, I don't even want to wake up in the morning. Like, I hate it here. And I've been through that season. I mean, I've been there in this season too. Not saying that I just want to die, but I'm like, shoot, at this point, it might as well. I already feel like I'm dying. Shoot, I don't got nothing. Let's take me and my kids, and I don't want to leave them behind in this wicked world. So just take us all, like. So basically, now he just wished that, I just wish I wasn't even born. Like a lot of us do, you be just like, this is not it. Just take me out. I'm done. Tap out. I'm tapping out. Take me out the game, coach. Take me out the game. I'm done with it. Deuces. See you in the next lifetime. Then a friend tells him, Job, just be patient, and just reminding him about the greatness of God. Think about how you've instructed many, how you have strengthened feeble hands. Your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees, but now trouble comes to you and you're discouraged. It strikes you and you're dismayed. Should not your piety be your confidence and your blameless ways your coat? Consider now, who being innocent has ever perished? Where were the upright ever destroyed? So now it's basically like, the friend basically, giving Job a pep talk. Like, just remember what, every stuff gonna happen to everybody. There's no need to have resentment. It says resentment kills a fool and envy slays the simple. I myself have seen a fool taking root, but suddenly his house was cursed. So the friend is like, blessed is the one who God corrects. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty. For he wounds, but he also binds up. He injures, but his hands also heal. From 6 calamities he will rescue you. In 7 no harm will touch you. In famine he will deliver you from death. And in battle from the stroke of the sword. You will be protected from the lash of the tongue. And need not fear when destruction comes. You will laugh at destruction and famine and will need not fear the wild animals. So basically tell him you don't need to worry. Like, it's going to be okay. He break down and build up. He, the Lord, do all those things. God create peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all those things. Whatever I tear down, I can build back up. Whatever I build up, I can tear down. Whatever I give it, I can take away. So that's basically what, the friend is trying to tell Job. So Job is like, nah, man, God attacked me for no reason. Like, why am I going through this? Like, what did I really do to deserve this? It's no reason that I should be going through this. And I just feel like dying. Woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. He felt like he was being treated unkindly by God. He felt, human existence was futile. He hated his new life. Like, and this is how you're going to feel in this journey. I was feeling like that too. I'm like, man, I hate this new life. Like, it's boring. I don't have no car. I don't have no money like I used to. I can't just go to the store whenever I feel like it and just buy whatever I want. I can't smoke no more. I can't do this. I don't got money for this. I'm just tired of surviving. I'm tired of like living on little. Like, man, this is not it. Because when you go from a place where you used to have and then you don't have, it's very humbling. And it's very painful. And this is why most times when people get to making a certain amount of money, or when you get to experience great things, you don't ever want to go back to a point where you have to come back down to where everybody else at, or to where you used to be at, before you had success and before you had money, because you're like, this ain't it. This ain't it. So Job was like, what strength do I have that I should still hope? What prospects that I should be patient? Do I have the strength of stone? Is my flesh bronze? Do I have any power to help myself now that success has been driven from me? Because you do feel like, shoot, I can't do nothing. I can't even help myself. I don't got no money no more. I don't have no success, so I can't even help myself. Like, what's the good of holding on to hope for? Why even hold on to this hope? It's just, it feels futile, and you don't like it. So Job gets to the point where he's like, man, I'm just frustrated. He just started talking to God. He just vented his frustrations. He was like, therefore, I won't keep silent. I will speak out in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. He was like, so that I prefer strangling and death rather than this body of mine. I despise my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone. My days have no meaning. What is mankind that you make so much of them? So this is what he's saying, to God. He like, he's just saying like, I hate my life. Like, he's venting out loud. He's just talking to God. His friends hear him and they like, he's saying all this to God. You really vent your frustration like that to God? But he was like, I despise my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone. My days have no meaning. What is mankind that you make so much of them? You gave them so much attention that you examine them every morning and test them every moment. Why has everything got to be a test? Why are you always testing me? Why are you always picking with me? Why are you always bothering me? Why do I have to keep getting tested? Why can't I just have a winning streak? Why can't I just have a peaceful streak? Why is always something? Why you always got to send Satan to come test me? Why? So he said, will you never look away from me or let me alone even for an instant? Like, will you can you just let up off me for a minute? Dang, it's just one thing after another. He said, if I have sinned, what have I done to you? You who see everything we do, why have you made me your target? Have I become a burden to you? Why do you not pardon my offenses and forgive my sins? For I will soon lie down in the dust. You will search for me, but I will be no more. He like, I'm getting ready to go right on home to you. I'm getting ready to be waiting right on at the shelf for you to give me my judgment in a minute, because I'm getting ready off myself. I'm getting ready to go jump off a bridge somewhere because I am sick of this life that you got me living. I don't like it, and it's not cool. It's not cool. So, Job's friend was telling him, it's unjustly to accuse God. He says, does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? When your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf and restore you to your prosperous state. Your beginnings will seem humble, so prosperous your future will be. And this is often how it is. You got some humble beginnings. You get them humble beginnings so that you can prosper in the end. Because, before we get to the end, we know he ended up blessing Job double for what he had. So just ride the wave, weather the storm, and you too will come to an end. The storm will end, and you'll be on new land again, and you'll be able to enjoy your free land. You'll be able to enjoy having again. You'll enjoy having a homeostasis in your life where you are at where you back down onto the good pavement. You're not all on the tides of the water no more. I'm going to bring you to rest and let you enjoy it. It's going to come again, but hold on. So Job is just like, my soul is weary of my life. He basically, asking God, what did I do to deserve this? Like, why do I deserve this wickedness? This is wicked darkness. He just sought for death because he felt like he was already dead. Like, it can't get no worse than this at this point. It can't get no worse than this. So let me go to chapter 10. Oh no, I missed the part where he was like, Job says it's futile to argue with God. He was like, indeed, I know that this is true, but how can mere mortals prove their innocence before God? Though they wish to dispute with him, they cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. His wisdom is profound, his power is vast. Who has resisted him and come out unscathed? He moves mountain without their knowing it. So basically, Job is telling the friend, like, I know what God does. I know what God does too, but I'm still upset, and I have the right to voice why I'm upset and what and I'm seeking answers from him, and he's not answering me. So this is what he's feeling, and he's telling God, like, this is how I'm feeling. So, he was like, it's futile to argue with God because you're going to be staying in your peace, and then he ain't going to be answering you, and he's still just going to have you in darkness, not knowing what's going on, and answer whenever he feel like it. And honestly, God will answer you, but he is going to answer when he feel like it. He's not moved. He's not easily moved. You're not going to threaten him. You're not going to be mad, crying, mad. You can't cuss him out. You can't beat him up with your words. You can't say, I'm turning my back away from you. You can't threaten him. You can't. All that stuff don't move him. It's not going to make him come any faster. It's not going to make him do what you want. It's not going to make him answer your prayers any faster. It's not going to make him get you out of that suffering season any faster. He's unmoved by that. He's going to move when he feels like moving. And that's what the friend was like, God does as he pleases, He does as he pleases. So it's futile to argue with him because you're going to be arguing with yourself. And yeah, he hears you. He hears everything you're saying, but he's still going to sit there in silence and wait till he feel like speaking. So basically, the friend was like, God does as he pleases. And Job was like, duh, I know he does as he pleases. I know he does this, but however, I'm made to look like a fool and laughing stock to my friends, though I called on God. And though I'm righteous, he not answering me. Like, you making me look like a laughing stock to my friends, to my family, to my enemies, to the youth, to everybody who once used to look up to me. Now they're looking at me like, and this is what you will go through in your Job season. People want to be mocking you. People want to be laughing at you, especially when they know you on that spiritual journey, when they know that you doing something in the name of God, and then you get to lose them like this, because I too faced that. I faced that with my own mom. Like, I was reading those letters to y'all back during that time, and what she said in the letters, like, oh, well, for this God you serve, and this God you serve, like, you need to get you and your kids out that shelter. Like, man, she was stalking me. I hadn't talked to her in months since the whole incident went down with me and her when she had came down. Them videos is all up on my page. So I don't even know how she knew we was in the shelter. My baby daddy didn't even know we was in the shelter. Nobody had knew we was in the shelter. So she was on some stalker stuff to know that we was in a shelter. And, you know, she ended up calling CPS on me and stuff too while I was in the shelter. And this is how I know she was really mad about me finding God. Like, people get mad at you when you find God, you know, especially if they ain't teach you God, and especially if they didn't raise you up like that. They don't like when that's something new for you. If they see that that's something different with you, when they see that you now, you know, have that spirit of God on you and you now want to do things differently, you want to, you know, follow a different path in life that's for your greater good, they're not going to really like that. They're going to be trying to shun you. And I knew that it was her who made the CPS report, because I'm like, no normal person would include in the CPS report that she's on some spiritual journey following God. Like, if that's the case, because that's what the CPS lady, the lady, the worker who came, and she was like, yeah, and the report says that you're on that you're on a spiritual journey and you're doing all these drugs in front of the kids. Da 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 da. I'm like, what? And that's how I automatically knew off the rip it was my mom, because you're the only one that knows I'm on a spiritual journey. Like, you're the only one know the reason why I moved away and everything. So I knew it was her. They didn't tell me who it was. They didn't even know who it was. It was an anonymous, I guess, case put in, but based off what the report was saying, it was a very pointless, you could just tell it was just what they had said, it was a bogus claim. Bogus claim. And at that point I knew, I'm like, and people will mock you. They will laugh at you because you're homeless, because you don't have nothing. You know, they see that you're in your losing season. They will laugh at that stuff. When you don't got what you used to have, when you used to, you know, be on your stuff, you ain't need nobody and all of this, they will laugh right in your face at your pain when you already suffering. They will kick you while you already down. And Job felt like his friends ended up starting to do that because they kept on having something to say, acting like he's wicked for what he's going through. And he didn't like that. He didn't like that. Even though Job was complaining about stuff, he still said, you know, though God slay me, I will still trust him. So he was like, to God belongs wisdom and power. Counsel and understanding are his. What he tears down cannot be rebuilt. Those he imprisoned cannot be released. If he holds back the waters, there is a drought. If he lets them loose, the land is devastated. To him belongs strength and insight. Both deceived and deceiver are his. He silences the lips of trusted advisors and takes away the discernment of elders. He pours contempt on nobles and disarms the mighty. He reveals the deep things of darkness and brings utter darkness into light. He makes nations great and destroys them. He enlarges nations and disperses them. So this is why he like, you know, though he slayed me, I'm going to trust in him because I know that he has the power to get me out of the situation. But I feel like he just making me suffer for what? And that's how I felt too. I'm like, you have the power. You're supreme. You're the creator, so why are you making me suffer for this long? What did I really do? What am I not doing still? I be going through that too. I be like, what is it that I'm still not doing? What is it you want me to do? I've done everything you asked of me. Like, what else is it that I'm not doing? I do things that I've never done before. I stopped doing things that I used to do, and it's like, it's still not good enough for you. So Job feeling just like this. He said, please consider my frail human nature. Job is so funny. Like, it just reminds me so much of me. And if you're on that season, if you're in this season, you too gonna feel that. So Job says, if only you would hide me in the grave and conceal me till your anger has passed. If only you would set me a time and then remember me. He says, if someone dies, will they live again? All the days of my hard service, I will wait for my renewal to come. You will call and I will answer you. You will long for the creature your hands have made. Surely then will you count my steps, but not keep track of my sin. My offenses will be sealed up in a bag. You will cover over my sin. It's funny because he said they feel but the pain of their own bodies and mourn only for themselves. Because he's basically like, you gonna wish that you didn't do this to me, God. Like, why would you do this to me? Like, at this point, this bury me. This bury me. I'm ready for my renewal to come. Like, I'm ready for the renewal. When is the renewal gonna come? When is restoration going to come? So the friends was like, you know, basically saying again, only wicked people live these tortured lives, Job. So you must have did something. You must have did something with all that wealth. You must didn't give back to the homeless. You must didn't care for the widows and the fatherless. You must didn't do that. You must treated your servants like crap. You must treated your family. You must have done something because you're suffering. And then you have the nerve to speak this way to God and express your frustration. You have the audacity to do that. So Job was just irritated. We're gonna skip over a lot of this because it's the same stuff going on and on. You know, Job just basically like, God is mistreating me. You know, Job says to his friends basically like, why do y'all continue to come down hard on me when I'm already being tortured by God? So because the friends I told y'all, like, the friends are like, what, you know, why are you speaking sinfully like that? This is why you're suffering now, because you keep speaking like that. You need to understand that God can do what he wants, and you must have done something. Friends in the Job, like, y'all lack wisdom. Y'all don't even understand. Y'all like, I know God. That's what Job is like. He's like, I know God. And because I know God, that's why I don't understand why he doing me like this. I thought we was cool. I thought we was ace boon coons. I thought you could trust me. I could trust you. You know I'm an upright man. You seen me since for all my days. You see what I do and what I don't do. So why are you acting like, you know, what have I really done? And anything that I have done in my youth, I've already repented for that. And you already forgave me. So it's like, are you holding me still to the sin that I already repented from all them years ago? Like, are you still holding me to that? So he basically was mad at his friends, like, you lack mercy, y'all lack mercy, and, you know, y'all keep trying to teach me, tell me about the wicked and all of that. I'm not wicked. I shouldn't be going through this. Woo-de-woo-de-woo. I shouldn't be going through this. So forget what y'all keep saying. I know for a fact I shouldn't be facing all this scrutiny and all this having to go without and having to live like this and have to just be in this misery, because I don't deserve this. And he just wanted God to understand that, God, I don't feel like I deserve this. So what are you doing this to me for? So Job is like, cause I'm not, we ain't about to read all of this. We're not about to read all of this. Cause it's the same thing. It's repeating the same stuff. So if y'all want to get like the filler and everything, y'all can just go read, because you'll see the conversation is just like, friend says this, Job says this, friend says this, Job says this, and they repeating themselves the whole time. Job keep trying to prove his case. He keep trying to prove to God. He keep trying to tell his friends that y'all don't have no wisdom. Y'all act like I can't sit here and have this conversation with God. Y'all act like I'm just supposed to sit and take it and not say nothing. Like, y'all don't know God. Y'all think he's going to punish me for speaking how I feel to him. That's not how the God I serve, that's not how he works. And I know that to be true because I talk to God. I express my concerns to him, because people make you feel like I don't know if this is something that Christianity has taught people, basically like, you know, you can't question God. You can't act like you mad at God. You just only can just, oh, I praise you, praise and worship. That's it. You can't have an actual conversation with God. But that's the furthest thing from the truth, because it's a relationship. And in any relationship where you can't ever, you know, speak how you feel, you got to walk around on eggshells because, you know, you don't want to piss the other person off. That's not a genuine relationship. That's a one-sided relationship. And God is not one-sided. Yes, he's going to do what he wants to do because he knows what he's doing to you and through you and for you. He knows things that you don't know. He's trying to also see where your heart really at, see where your head really at, test to see if you still that person that I knew you as. He does things to test you. And because he know what he's doing, he's not moved easily, but he's also gonna communicate with you. He's going to give you instruction. He's going to answer you. He might not answer you right when you ask the questions, but he's going to answer you. Because when he just led me to read Job the other day, it probably was like a good 2 days where I wasn't feeling good. Like, and it was actually just like, yeah, it was like a day. Because that morning and then the next day is when I was led to read Job. I was led to read Job, and once I started reading, I was like, okay, God, because I'm sitting there too, questioning. I'm mad, I'm crying, and I'm just, you know, about to give him the silent treatment, because I'll give him the silent treatment sometimes, but but it's like, I'm still gonna pray in the morning, I'm still gonna pray at night, you know, and as I'm going throughout the day, God will do simple things to show me that he is still there for me. So it's like, all right, I'm not so mad. I know that you do still got me. You know, you ain't answering what I exactly want, but I do see that you still here with me. And obviously, you just not ready for me to get what I'm asking for yet. And I just got to wait. So I just got to be patient. It's like, it's just real humbling. You know, so Job is like, you know, sometimes the wicked do prosper. So even if you say I'm wicked, then why I'm not prospering? Because the wicked end up prospering too. The wicked prosper a lot. I guess I can read one of those little scriptures where he was talking about that. He said, why do the wicked live on, growing older and increasing in power? They see their children established around them, their offspring before their eyes. Their homes are safe and free from fear. The rod of God is not on them. Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows calve and do not miscarry. You know, yada, yada, yada. He said, can anyone teach knowledge to God since he judges even the highest? One person dies in full vigor, completely secure and at ease, well nourished in the body, bones rich with marrow. Another dies in a bitterless soul, never had enjoyed anything good. Side by side they lie in the dust, and worms cover them both. He said, so how can you console me with your nonsense? Nothing is left of your answers but falsehood, saying that to his friends, because he like, wicked do prosper. Y'all keep saying that the wicked goes down and only the wicked never prosper, but and that must be why I'm losing everything. But he's like, no, the wicked. And I told y'all that I be feeling like that too. You look around and then you see like the Diddies, you see the people who selling, like who literally promoting sin to us on social media, and it seems like they just living and they driving the best cars, they living in the nice houses, they got their kids, they got all the women, they got the men, they got everything going. To seem like, you know, they get to promote all of this vanity out here, everything different than what he convicted you of. You convicted me of these things, you humbled me of these things, yet these people get to do that. These Jezebels out here get to run wild. Meanwhile, you convicted me of my Jezebelness, and I didn't took that away, and I didn't did different. I didn't change my ways. Yet, I'm the one that's still suffering, and I'm the one that changed my ways. So it's like, what? And this is how you will feel in this season. You given up things. You don't celebrate these pagan holidays no more. I've had all those emotions because I'm like, I don't celebrate these holidays. I stopped doing that stuff. I turned away from my ways. I cut off people who you told me to cut off, when you told me to cut off. And even when you know, try to make, I felt at one point, I'm like, because about that video I said I did about the daughters, judgment on the daughters of Zion. I'm like, you know, one minute you make it seem like I'm being too hard and I'm actually being mean with these people. But then the next minute, you act like I need to cut them off, and I get penalized for cutting them off, and it's like I get penalized for coming down hard on them. So which one is it? Mike, which one is it? So I felt all those emotions. I felt the same way that Job had felt. And if you going through this season, you too feel it, and you have felt it, and you understand what it's like, you know, and you will look around at everybody else and be like, dang, why can't they get to do all of this stuff? You know, like for Sean up there, you know, she get to profess Jesus' name and all of that. But yeah, she get to be out here doing this and doing that. And everybody else out there. And they be using your name. But yet they get to be on here cutting a fool out here. But it's okay for them to do that. And they still get blessed. They still get to get this and get that. Meanwhile, I'm suffering. And I actually literally intentionally try to turn away from those wicked ways. You know, but that's when he'll be like, girl, you not them, they not you. Everything is for everybody, and there's a time for everybody. And just trust, everybody gonna go through their emotion. This just their time for them to feel like they up. Because everything, what goes up must come down. And what's at the bottom will too rise. If you just hold on to your faith and trust the process. You know, so he just basically feel like, as a righteous man, why do I get this punishment and the wicked goes unpunished, you know? And at this point, Job just want to hear from God and get an answer. He just want an answer to why God is making him suffer despite him crying out for mercy, because he knows he didn't do anything to deserve this torture. But he knows God is still going to do as he please anyway, but he still just want an answer. Sometimes you just want to know. Just like if you in any regular relationship, you know, you looking for closure, you know, or somebody just broke it off with you, or, you know, you just want to be like, you want to know what was this about? Why is this like this? What's going on in our relationship? Why are you not speaking to me? This is how having a real relationship is with God. It's like, okay, why are you not answering me? Why are you not speaking to me? Why are you giving me the silent treatment? What's up with you? Like, what's up? What did I do? Can we talk? Can we talk like two grown folk? So that's how Job is feeling too. He's like, I know he ain't answering me. Let me see if I can. Let's pull it up so we can read it. He said, even today, my complaint is bitter. His hand is heavy in spite of my groaning. If only I knew where to find him, I could go to his dwelling. I would state my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would find out what he would answer me and consider what he would say to me. Would he vigorously oppose me? No, he would not press charges against me. There the upright can establish their innocence before him, and there I would be delivered forever from my judge. Then he says, my feet have closely followed his steps. I have kept to his way without turning aside. I have not departed from the commands of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my daily bread. But he stands alone, and who can oppose him? He does whatever he pleases. He carries out his decree against me, and many such plans he still has in store. That is why I am terrified before him. When I think of all this, I fear him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. Yet I am not silenced by the darkness, by the thick darkness that covers my face. So, you know, he plead his case, and he just like, man, whatever. God gonna do whatever he want. And this is what you gotta realize. He is. You saying all that. That's what he always said earlier. It's futile to argue with God. You can voice how you feel and everything, but that don't mean he gonna answer you right when you feel like it. That don't mean he gonna just say, all right, you saying this, now let me just jump to your command, because he's not a genie. And people look at God like he a genie, and then when he don't do that genie move that you're looking for, now you ready to go against him. Now you ready to stop following him and go worship your idols and go back to your old ways and do your own thing because he not moving fast enough for you. He not moving on human time. Period. Period. For one, human time is different than heavenly time. It takes 1,000 human days to account for one heavenly day. One day in the spiritual realm means 1,000 years in human years. Just like you got your dog years to human years, that's where they get that stuff from. Human years versus the heavenly years that God has created. That's why you got dog years versus human years and all of this other stuff. They get that from God's structure with human versus the heavenly. So the friend was like, you know, no one is justified before God. Like, there's nobody that's righteous because everybody sins. So, you know, nobody's righteous, Job. So you think you just this righteous man that ain't nothing supposed to happen to you. But really, in all actuality, nobody is really righteous. So you going through stuff just like everybody else going through stuff. You don't deserve nothing different than everybody else do. Woo, 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 woo. And Job is like, he's just get so mad at his friend's advice because he's like, y'all don't even know. Like, you guys are, like he said right here. Like, is it right here? Like he said, man, y'all are simple. And the friend was like, because she was like, can you just stop talking? And he was like, why? The friend was like, why are you regard us as cattle as if we stupid? Because y'all, he like, y'all don't even know nothing, but y'all keep trying to give me advice on this stuff. I already know who God is. I already know his power. I already know what he does. That still doesn't mean that I don't get to voice my feelings about this. You know, so Job just, you know, he know that wisdom comes from God and it's God's alone. And true wisdom is ultimately fearing the Lord. And he does fear the Lord, which is why he would never just commit blasphemy against him. But he is just expressing himself. And, you know, to forsake evil is the real understanding. So Job just continually grieve his former prosperity and his honor. And we'll read that. So this is Job's final defense, you know, about him missing what he once had. And this is so relatable. So I'm going to read this whole entire thing. And if you've been there, you've been there and you know. So he says, how I long for the months gone by, for the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone my head, and by his light I walked through darkness. Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's intimate friendship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me, and my children were around me, when my path was drenched with cream, the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil. When I went to the gate of the city and took my seat in the public square, the young men saw me and stepped aside, and the old men rose to their feet. The chief man refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voices of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roof of their mouths. Whoever heard of me spoke well of me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor who cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was a father to the needy. I took up the case of the stranger. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. I thought I will die in my own house. My days as numerous as the grains of sand. My roots will reach to the water, and the dew will lie all night on my branches. My glory will not fade. Bowl will ever new in my hand. People listened to me expectantly, waiting in silence for my counsel. After I had spoken, they spoke no more. My words fell gently on their ears. They waited for me as for showers and drank in my words as the spring rain. When I smiled at them, they scarcely believed it. The light of my face was precious to them. I chose the way for them and sat as their chief. I dwelt as king among his troops. I was like one who comforts mourners. So basically, this is what he used to do. He's reflecting on how he used to be, like how everybody looked at him. He was that one, like he was the savior of his community. He was the savior of the weak, of the homeless, of the needy. He came and he provided for them. That's why he just like, I just don't understand. It's like, have you not been observant? Like, what kind of eyes are you having, God? I thought you see all. And I know you see all, so why are you acting like you have not seen all that I have done for me to be suffering like this? You know? So he speaks of his anguish yet again, you know, just talking about, you know, how he's suffering, how they mocking him. I'm not going to go and read all of that, you know, but he's like, you know, they mocking me. You know, he said, but now they mock me, men younger than I, whose fathers I have disdained to put with my sheepdogs. Of what use was the strength of their hands to me, since their vigor had gone from them? And basically, he just going on with how he's just feeling, he's suffering, and he just feel like he shouldn't be suffering after all that he's done. So, you know, he was just basically like, you know, what sin have I ever committed? I never lied. I never deceived anyone. I never coveted my neighbor's wife. I never lusted after a young woman, and so on and so on. So I'm going to put that little scripture up there. I'll put that little part up there for y'all to see that. If y'all want to stop and pause it and read it, or just, you know, go to it and y'all think, because I'm not going to read the whole entire thing. So then the other, I wouldn't say it was his friend. It wasn't part of the initial three friends, but the guy Elihu, I don't know if it was a guy or a woman actually, or a girl, but I would say it's an associate. So he heard the going back and forth between Job and his friends and everything that they were saying and everything. So Elihu and the associate, he decided to speak because of the conversation he was hearing amongst Job and his friends. It angered him. And Elihu says that God don't have to answer you, Job. He can't be unjust. So humble yourself before God. Human behavior can't change God. God is just in all his ways. You know, so Elihu, he reminds Job of God's power and that God should be feared. And I'm going to actually, because Elihu said some very good things. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. So Elihu, son of Barachel the Buzite, said, I am young in years, and you are old. That is why I was fearful, not daring to tell you what I know. I thought age should speak. Advanced years should teach wisdom. But it is the spirit in a person. And this is facts, because people think that wisdom comes with age. But no, it's a lot of old goofies that just act like airheads, that don't know nothing, that have no wisdom. They don't practice what they preach. They don't take into account of the things that they've been through. They don't learn from their lessons that they've been going through all their years. They be older than the teenagers and the 20s and people. They be older than the youth and still doing the same stupid stuff as the youth, because you lack wisdom. You can't even teach the youth nothing because you haven't learned nothing. You haven't applied it to your life to be an example for the youth, because you got to lead by example. So he said, but it is the spirit in a person, the breath of the Almighty, that gives them understanding. It is not only the old who are wise, not only the aged who understand what is right. Therefore I say, listen to me. I too will tell you what I know. I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning while you were searching for words. I gave you my full attention, but not one of you have proved Job wrong. None of you have answered his argument. So for everything that Job was rebuttaling his friends saying, they couldn't really give him no insight on what he was asking, and they couldn't answer the questions that God was speaking, that Job was speaking out loud, telling them, and then praying to God, and confessing to God and everything. The friends couldn't answer him. All they kept answering him with was, you must have did something wrong. You must have did something wrong because only the wicked. And Job was like, what? Like, shut up. Y'all tired of me speaking, but I'm tired of y'all speaking because y'all keep saying the same useless nothing. And so it says, do not say we have found wisdom. Let God, not a man, refute him. But Job has not marshaled his words against me, and I will not answer him with your arguments. They are dismayed and have no more to say. Words have failed them. Must I wait now that they are silent, now that they stand there with no reply? I too will have my say. I too will tell what I know, for I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am bottled up like wine. I must speak and find relief. Okay? And no, I don't show partiality, nor will I flatter anyone. So Elihu says, do you think this is just? You say I am right, not God. Yet you ask him, what profit is it to me, and what do I gain by not sinning? I would like to reply to you and to your friends with you. Look up at the heavens and see. Gaze at the clouds so above you. If you sin, how does that affect him? If your sins are many, what does that do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness only affects humans like yourself, and your righteousness only other people. People cry out under a load of oppression. They plead for relief from the arms of the powerful, but no one says, where is God my maker, who gives song in the night, who teaches us more than he teaches the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of the sky? He does not answer when people cry out because of his arrogance of the wicked. Indeed, God doesn't listen to their empty plea. The Almighty pays no attention to it. How much less then will he listen when you say that you do not see him, and your case is before him, and you must wait for him, and further that his anger never punishes, and he does not take the least notice of wickedness. So Job opens his mouth with empty talk. Without knowledge, he multiplies words. So the friend Elihu, because, all right, let's just go on. We're gonna move on. We're not gonna read everything. Okay, so I'm gonna skip over some of that because it's basically Elihu speaking his piece and giving Job some wisdom that he has, that he feel like only God can give you, that God has gave him, even though he's younger than Job. He's getting some wisdom. He has wisdom that he can give to Job about who God is and about his power. So now God finally speaks. So God finally speaks and answers Job. And he says, who is able to challenge me? Where were you during my creation? And God basically is expressing, who he is. He's the creator. He's the provider of earth and everything in it. So he's sovereign. And if you don't have the power that he has to create the sky, the stars, the sun, all the luminaries and all the beasts and humans, if you don't have the power to give breath, if you don't have the power to do all that he can do, then it's basically like, you can't move me. So stop trying to play chess with me because you're really playing checkers, because I'm going to checkmate and king you out every single time. So that's why I'm not going to read all that God is telling you, because everything that he's saying, I'll put it up there if y'all want to read it or whatever. But God basically be just giving parables just to give insights on his animals. He was basically giving insight on his animals and what he equipped them with and what he did and how he did it, just to show that only someone, a spirit so supreme and so sovereign and so almighty is the only one that can do that to the animals. is the only one that can give animals the gift, the gab like they have. Is the only one that can give life to animals, give life to humans, that can order the sun to stay in this place and rise and set at this time. He's the only one who can give the order of the creation for the seeds to be gathered in one area. No one else can have that power to do that. No one else can control the tides of the water. No one else can do that. So Job said to God, all right, after God gave his little spill on his creation and how, he just said it just to show that I am supreme. God, everything that God does is to show his sovereignty. Is to show that he is supreme. He is the beginning, the end, the first and the last. He is above and beyond any of these little gods, any of your idols. He's above you. He's above everybody who you try to put on a pedestal. He's everything. Because he created this world and he can finish this world in a blink of an eye. All he got to do is take the breath out of us. And we will all fall out and be unalived right here where we lay. With one smite, he can strike us all. With one blow, he can strike us all. He can smite us all with one blow. So Job said to him, okay, I will humble myself before you, and God says, can you be like me? Once again, he gave a speech, about his creation, just showing how he is supreme. So I'm going to read that. So the Lord said to Job, just so y'all see what God be doing. God is so funny. So the Lord said to Job, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him. Then Job answered the Lord, I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I had no answer. Twice, but I will say no more. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. Brace yourself like a man. I will question you and you shall answer me. You had all these questions for me. You had all this to say. Now that I'm asking you something, because at this point, God was basically like, he sunned him like, hold up. You got all these questions. I created this. Don't ask me all these questions. I mean, you can ask me these questions, but don't demand that I answer you when you feel like I should answer you. He don't have a problem with you questioning him, but it's the fact that Job was demanding him to answer him and acting like he could put a time frame on how long God has to answer him. God, like, I answer when I feel like it. Let me tell you who really running the show. So hold your horses. It's okay to express yourself and all that, but just sit and wait patiently, humble yourself, and I'll answer you in due time. But you keep pressuring me. That's making me stay silent longer. Wait till I'm ready to come back around. Y'all know how some of these folks do in regular relationships. When you ready to talk, they ain't ready to talk. You guys sit around, especially these narcs, you guys sit around and wait for when they ready to finally talk about it. And when they ready to stop being mad, and then they want to come back around now being sweet and all of that and all that. Now they ready to talk. Or they ready to just act like nothing ever happened and move on with and they ready to just move on with it. So he said, would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's? And can your voice thunder like his? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury all them in the dust together. Strew their faces in grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Look at Behemoth and look at Leviathan. That's that sea serpent. And we're gonna be talking about these eventually later on, but that was one of his, the Behemoth and the Leviathan, those was one of his most magnificent creations, because Leviathan, he's the serpent of the sea. God made creations for a reason. And the Leviathan was supposedly like one of the fallen angels. He kind of worked with, he was like a subordinate to Lucifer. And God created him, to have power within the sea. And he created certain beasts for certain things for the days of judgment, to bring, like, he creates the enemy for a reason. Like, so when he needs to humble folk and when he needs to bring destruction on the land, he uses his creations, his big beasts that he created, these beasts that he's created, he uses them to come in and act out when they need to act out, to humble humanity like they did once before, and like that's coming again. He uses certain of his creations and certain people. He will work through anybody he needs to teach a lesson, to humble the folk when they ain't doing what he want them to do, and when they getting too full of himself. So God was basically like, can you conquer Leviathan? You know, just once again to show, like, I'm the ultimate ruler. I'm the only one that could tame that beast. You couldn't tame him. If you was to see that beast that I created, you couldn't tame him. So if you couldn't tame him, only I can. That means that I am sovereign. That means that I rule everything. That means that everybody has to answer to me. I don't have to answer to everybody else when they say. Everybody is to answer to me when I say answer me. But when you tell me to answer you, I don't have to answer you right then and there. So Job submits himself to God, and then God disciplined Job's friends. So let's go read that right quick, because God actually was not happy with his friends. So we're going to read chapter 42, and then this is pretty much the end. So this is where God is restoring Job with everything he lost. You know, after they had a conversation and he repent, you know, Job repent, you know, for his wrongdoing within the things that he's, you know, was demanding of the Lord, and, you know, all of that. He humbled himself and was like, all right. Because like I told y'all in that video that I did, you know, about the faith walk, you know, when everything is falling apart, you do have to humble yourself, because you'll get mad and everything and start, you know, saying this and saying that. And it's okay to express yourself, but it's like, humble yourself and understand that God knows what he's doing. You don't understand it, and because you don't understand it, because it's new to you, it's foreign to you, you don't understand the way that God works, even though you think. Because one thing about God, we can know him all day. We might know how he works. We might know what it looks like to see an anointed person. We might know what it looks like to have, for somebody to have that Holy Spirit on them. We know God's patterns. We know how he moves through people. We could tell when something is of God. And we might know that, but don't ever think you got him all the way figured out, because he gonna hit you with the switcheroo, because he don't ever want nobody to think they got him all figured out and know his every single play. This is why he will trip you up. As much as I know God, know how he move and all of that, he not gonna reveal everything to me, even to his wise men out here, to people, you know, prophets and all of that. He not going to reveal everything to them. You got people that's a psychic and everything. God has gifted them with powers and stuff to see ahead, to see what's coming, you know, but he still ain't let them know everything. He always going to leave something out, because that's a part of his sovereignty. It's a part of knowing that one should only rely strictly on him. Don't rely on no psychic because you think that they know what's coming, because they don't know exactly in the way. They don't know the exact winds. They don't know exactly how it's going to manifest for you. Only God knows that. And he never wants anybody to know everything, because then it's like, what is he needed for? Why is he sovereign at this point? You know? So let's read this, and then we're going to go ahead and close it out. So it says, then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears has heard you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. So that was, you know, Job submit himself to God, and just like, you know, I humble myself and I submit to you. You got it. I'm just gonna sit back and wait until you ready to, you know, to restore me and everything. So after the Lord had said these things to Job, he said to Job's friends, he said, I'm angry with you and your two friends, because you have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has. Because remember, they kept saying, you must be wicked. He only do that stuff to the wicked people, and this, that, and that. And Job like, no, I mean, and then they try to say that Job not righteous. No human can really be righteous. And even with the friend Elihu was saying, he was like, what did Elihu say? Like, I forgot exactly what he said, but some of the stuff that the friends were saying was not true. It was some truth into some of the stuff that they were saying, but they wasn't giving Job sound wisdom. Like, they was making Job feel like he really didn't know God at all, because Job is telling him what he know of God, and they telling them what they know, and they acting like what Job is saying is wrong, like he don't have the capabilities of being able to express himself, that's why he was getting punished severely, because he kept speaking up against how he felt, and they made it seem like that God is against that. God is not against you speaking how you feel. It's a relationship. It's two-sided. You're supposed to tell how you feel. You come correct. You be respectful in how you come. You don't curse him and speak blasphemy against him, but you can express how you feel, and you're not going to get penalized for expressing how you feel and voicing your concerns and your questions. It's just in a way that you do it, and not demanding him to answer you, or demanding that he hurry up and restore your stuff, and then that you demand him to hurry up and break free from this suffering. You can't do that, but you can be like, I'm just tired. What's up, God? And then you humble yourself and you chill back and wait for him to answer you. But the friends, get out, Ari. I'm almost done, baby.
It's okay, Samantha. Can we say something?
Yes, y'all. Hold on. I'm almost done.
Sorry, Mom.
Okay, I'm almost done. Bye. Because the friend Elihu, the part where he was like, you can't, human behavior cannot change God. Like, and God is just in all his ways. Yes, God is just in all his ways, but human behavior does move God. I mean, it's not going to move him in the sense of he going to do what you say when he do it, but human behavior, God does not like certain things that humans do when it goes against his laws and ordinances for the humans. So yes, that does move God, and that does upset him. And if you don't do what he's telling you to do, you will pay for that. So you can't say that human behavior can't change God. Human behavior can change God's moods. Because it was one point in here where he was like, let me see if I can go back and find that part. I think it was in chapter 35. And he was like, if you sin, how does that affect him? Like, basically saying, if you sin, how does that affect God? What? Because God doesn't like that. That's insubordination if you're committing sin that's going against him. When he clearly gave you laws and ordinances to follow in Leviticus. He gave you the 10 commandments. That's to apply to all the Israelites and the Gentiles who has now became God-fearing people. So if you become a God-fearing people and you accept God as your God as well, you are to follow those same laws that he gave to his original people, which was the Israelites, which is AKA the Black community, and then the other tribes too. So you are to follow that. You don't get to just do what you want. Sin does affect him, because now he got to put on he got to turn to the big God, he already big God, but he got to turn to his, mean side. But he create good, he make peace, and he make evil. When you sinning and all that, he can't be the sweet, nice God that he want to be. When you going against him, when you blatantly going against him with all this idol worship and all of the other stuff that we be out here with all the sins, when we blatantly doing this stuff and not even trying to take no initiative to turn away from our wicked ways, that will piss God off. That will allow him to give you into the hands of your enemies, like he has done the Black community, because of our blatant disobedience to him, as discussed in Deuteronomy 28. Our blatant disobedience. And when you blatantly disobedient, you will get cursed. You will get reprimanded for that. So Elihu, whatever how you say his name, he was wrong for that. And that's what God is saying, like, you guys are cursed now because y'all gave Job wrong information. Woo. And let's finish reading that so we can close this out. So I can put these kids to bed, because they act like they just can't stay in there by themselves. They just gotta be up under me all day. It's like ridiculous, y'all. It's ridiculous how they are. So he said, because you have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has, I'm angry with you, and I'm angry with you and the friends too. So now take 7 bulls and 7 rams and go to my servant Job and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves. My servant Job will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer and not deal with you according to your folly. So according to your foolishness, I'm going going to give you a little bit of grace if, make your offering because of what you did. Make your sacrifice, because y'all know when they would do wrong stuff, you got to make like a sin offering or a trespass offering or a burnt offering, depending on what your crime was that you committed, what your sin was. So he said, you have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has. So the friends did what the Lord told them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayer. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Twice. All his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came and ate with him in his house. They comforted him and consoled him over all the trouble the Lord had brought on him, and each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. As they said before, earlier in the book, when it was saying, like, you're going to have humble beginnings, but you're going to get restored after that. You shall see the light of day. You shall see a harvest again. Just hold on. This is why it's important to ride the wave. Just vibe out. Just vibe out. Like I said in that video, and like somebody said in the comments, you just gotta vibe out. Don't do too much complaining. You can vent. You gonna have your days, but don't make your whole journey about every day you complaining. Every hour of the day you complaining. Every hour of the day you looking back to the past. Every hour of the day you focus on that instead of focusing on the task at hand that he's telling you to do. Instead of focusing on how he freed you from a place of bondage. It might seem like it was better there, but in all actuality, you was missing certain things, and you was not having certain habits that was no longer serving you. It was certain people that was no longer serving you back in that season when he took you from. You might have had money, you might have had materialistic things, but you didn't have inner peace. You had voids in you that you was filling with temporary satisfactions. And he don't want you to fill those voids with temporary satisfactions. He wants you to fill those with him. He wants you to find peace and wholeness within him. He wants you to learn boundaries. He wants you to stop being codependent on flesh and be codependent on him. He wants you to turn away from some of your sins. All of them, for real. But he give you grace. And he know that some stuff just don't happen overnight. But you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional. So it says, the Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. So he blessed him double, because remember in the beginning he only had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camel, 500 oxen, and 500 donkeys. And he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The daughters he named Jemima, the second Keziah, and the third Karen Hapuk, or whatever. Nowhere in all the land were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw his children and their children to the 4th generation. And so Job died an old man and full of years. So remember, the sons had died. So because of the sons died, now God, he blessed his daughters abundantly. He gave them their inheritance. He looked after them. They were beautiful. They were well known in the land. They had like hierarchy and they had rank in the land now, because that was part of the getting blessed double fold. For everything you have lost, I'm going to bless you double. Yeah, you might not be able to get those children back, but your grandchildren, your children's children, they gonna be blessed, and your daughters are gonna be blessed in the land too. And I don't know, knowing God, he might have let this man have some more sons so he could have more sons to live on. It don't say it all here, but he lived that many more years after this. He was 140 years old, so I'm sure he probably had some more kids with his wife or whatever. But thank you guys, if you guys stayed to the end of this Bible study. Thank you for staying tuned with this. Hope y'all got something out of it, because we need to understand that you're going to go through the storm. Weather it. Just vibe. Just vibe. You're going to cry. Cry. It's okay. Cry. And then get yourself together. Get in your word. Read the book of Job. If you in this season, you need to read the book of Job. It's going to make you feel like, okay. I told y'all, this is how I know the Bible is real. This is how I know Old Testament is still very much so valid. Very much so, it's still something that we need to always be referring to. This is something that we still need to live by, because I'm living out Old Testament. I've lived out Abraham. I'm just like Joseph. I got integrity like him. I'm not going to sleep with your husband. I'm not going to do stuff like that. I have that integrity of Abraham. I have that integrity. And then I even say some of the things they say. That's why for me, it's like, wow, I'm really living out Old Testament. I told y'all about the stuff that they said about the cattle. I was like, dang, I feel like that too. Like, people be dumb as cattle. Like, you slow like cattle. I call God the Most High and the Creator and all the stuff like Abraham did. I have a video up here about the book, about us doing a Bible study on Abraham. And I'm like, wow, I'm just like Abraham. For one, he sent me on a mission like Abraham. I'm going to move you to a land where you know nobody. Whoop, 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 whoop. You're going to become a great nation there. And it is. It's in Texas where I have built my platform. You know, I built my ark. It's constantly growing. And I thank you all for all supporting me. I'm trying to get better with, like, I'm trying to get my, you know, just slowly but surely, I'm trying to get my sound and stuff together. You know, that's why I'm in this room now recording, because it's not so echoey. So as time goes on, I'm trying to get like the mic. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to just get better sound quality. Just, you know, keep perfecting my art and my arc. Keep building my arc and keep bringing people in. And let us all get saved and find, you know, peace within the Lord. Let us find wholeness within the Lord. Let us, you know, turn away from our wicked ways together. Let us prepare and keep all build our arcs and turn away from a lot of stuff that's no longer serving us, because God has nothing but greatness and abundance planned for us. It's abundance of prosperity. We have an inheritance waiting for us. And if we just weather the storm, if we just be okay with our humble beginnings, if we just be patient, if we just continue to trust in the Lord with all our heart and not lean on our own understanding and trust in Him and have that faith, no matter what it looks like, when you having those rainy days, when stuff seems like it's falling apart, if you just hold on to the faith and you know God gonna get you through, and you can see that He's with you, as every day He's gonna show up and show you in the smallest ways that He's still with you. It could be at the store. Just as simple as you go to the store for this one thing, and it might be that one thing left. It might be that one item left because you was going to the store just for that, and you would have been mad if it wasn't there at the store. But because who knows how long it took you to get to the store and all that you had to go through to get to the store, and that thing ain't there, you be mad. And the fact that it be one left, it be that one thing left that show you, and you be like, oh, thank you, God. Oh, you do love me. Oh, you are here with me. Like, because that's what I've gone through in my experience. So we just got to hold on. Don't get mad. I mean, you know, you're human. You won't get upset. And it's cool. Cry, slide down the wall. But once you're done having your little toddler tantrum and all of that, because you feel let down, you feel hurt, you feel like your father is being tough on you, like Job was feeling, and like we all be feeling, you get yourself together, you humble yourself, you get into the word, you see that you're not the only one who's going through it, you're not the only one who went through it, and you see through what happened with Job, you see how he did end up blessing him. So if he did it for him, he would surely do it for you. And you've known from plenty of times before how God has showed up for you when things was looking weary, when you didn't know what was going to go on. You thought you was, you know, you was on your last dollar, and all of a sudden, you know, you had to feed your kids, or your baby needed Pampers, your baby needed milk, the bill was due, and God came through. And anything that He didn't come through for is because He don't want you to have it no more, because He's going to take that out and replace it with something new if you just give Him time, because He's preparing your order. He's preparing the new for you. But as He's preparing the new for you, you have to chill. You have to chill and just be obedient and do what He's telling you to do right now. Because He's going to give you instruction. He's going to give you a task that you need to be doing every day until He is ready to deliver your brand new package for you. Until restoration is ready for you. He might be telling you to start fasting. You need to start fasting. You need to be praying more. You need to be doing things. You need to fast off of social media, get off of social media, get off the TV, get into your word. He might want you to start your new business. Whatever it is that He's instructing you to do during that season, that's what you need to do. Obedience is key. Be obedient and you will surely reap the rewards for your obedience. There is blessings for obedience. As He told us in Deuteronomy, that you're going to get blessed for your obedience and you're going to get cursed for your disobedience. So won't you just cry it out as you do what He's telling you to do? Like I told you on that video the other day, I get the crying and feeling away, but at the end of the day, it's like, all right, get myself together. And I'm like, okay, I already know what my task is. I got to be in my book. So no matter what else, nothing else, I got to be in my book. And sometimes God know you so well. He know that if he give you the blessing right now, you're going to neglect your duties that you're supposed to be doing. You're going to be putting that stuff on the back burner because you got this new blessing. You're going to be trying to gloat in that and be happy about that and so caught up into that. He give you the new house. You're going to be so busy trying to decorate it that you're not going to be focused on your work as much as you need to be. He give you the new relationship. You're not going to be focused on your business like you need to be. You're not going to be focused on your healing like you need to be. You're not going to be reading a book as much. You're not going to be praying as much. So he's going to prolong that. He's going to hold off on that because he needs you to get used to doing what he told you to do and get so deep into it that becomes your second nature. That becomes something that you just wake up and do every day like it's nothing. And when he see that you structured in what he told you to do, then he'll give you that stuff. Because he know you're easily distracted. He know you. So yes, that's why sometimes he will make you wait. It's things he needs you to learn in the interim. It's things you need to learn in the middle passage. It's things that the Israelites had to learn in their wilderness season. They needed to learn a lot of lessons. They needed to learn to have patience. They needed to learn to have true faith. They needed to learn to stop complaining so much and just go with the flow. Especially for the ladies, some of y'all will go with the flow with some loose head man who loose as a goose. He don't got no direction, no guidance, no vision. He ain't trying to take you nowhere. He taking you nowhere really fast, diving you into a ditch. And you go with the flow with that mess. You go with the flow with that hot mess that you so-called so in love with, who ain't leading you to nowhere but destruction because he's destructing. Same for the dudes. You chasing after a hot pocket Jezebel who don't know where she coming or going. She looking for the next hot man, the next person with status, the next best thing. Meanwhile, you chasing her, you let her take you off your vision, take you out your purpose, spend up all your money, do all this, you let her bring you down. You need to be giving that time and energy into what God is telling you to do. The vision. Focus on the vision and focus on being obedient so that that vision could become reality because that's what God wants for you. He's not doing stuff to you just to hurt your feelings. It's to lead you to your promised land, to lead you to greatness, to lead you into that man or woman that he has called you here to be. For when he knew you when you was formed in your mama womb, he ordained you to have a certain life. He already had a prophecy over your life of where you would be, and he want to get you to that point. But you have to be patient with him. You have to work with him and stop working against him. And stop thinking that stuff is supposed to just happen like this. And like you're just supposed to take the stairs to success. Take the stairs to love. Take the stairs to your new life. Take your stairs to the promised land. No, that's why he took the Israelites through the desert, through the Red Sea. He ain't take them just straight to Canaan, straight to the promised land. Nah, he said these people need to go the long way. And because they complained and lacked faith and then started to turn to idols and do other stuff because it wasn't what they was used to. And because they didn't want to follow the rules, and because they didn't want to hold on to the faith, they get to doing other stuff that actually end up prolonging their process. So you will hold your own stuff up. You will block your own blessings by trying to deviate away from what God's telling you to do. Think that if you do this, just like with me, a prime example right now, God been convicting me to do the 21-day Daniel fast for a couple months now. Couple months. Yet I'm doing a 3-day fast. I'm doing alternate day fasting. I'm doing other type of fasting, but I'm doing everything but the one that he's convicted me to do. And thinking that I'm going to get what I'm looking for, that thing. I mean, yes, he still do give me revelation through fasting and stuff, but the things that I'm really praying for that I know probably not going to really show up until after I do the fast that he ordered me to do, not doing what I want to do. So well, I'm going to just do a 3-day fast because 21 days is so long just to eat healthy fruits and vegetables because I'm a snack fiend and a carb junkie. I want to take the easy route and just be like, all right, I'm going to just do a 3-day fast, not eat for 3 days. That's easier than going a whole 21 days and can't eat this and that. But that's not what he told you to do. And even when you're doing the 3-day fast, you still get conviction because you know you need to be doing the 21-day fast. And it's that simple. He'll tell you to do this, and you're like, no, I'm going to just do this. Or I'm going to just do this until you do this. You know, you be trying to bargain with him and trying to negotiate. Ain't no negotiating. He is the boss. He is the leader. He is the father. He is the parent. You do as I say, like your own parents would say. You do as I say, not as I do. You do what I tell you to do, not what you want to do. That's how God feels too. So if you just work with him and stop working against him, surely you will get your restoration like Job. You will get blessed with double, more than you had before, a more beautiful and blessed life than you once had before that you thought was so great but really wasn't so great. You don't know what true greatness is until you be obedient to the Lord and achieve them new blessings that he got for you. That's going to come way swifter, way better. So I'm going to leave that here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope y'all got something from this message, from this Bible study. Peace and blessings. Mwah. Deuces.